This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the CEO of Mawson Gold, Mr. Michael Hudson. Mike, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Gerardo. Very well, thank you.
You are a busy man. The Mawson team is a busy team. There are 4 drill rigs now in Finland. I believe those are diamond drill rigs on site and ready to get busy. Can you provide some context?
This is our big drill season. When things freeze, it creates the super highways to get the rigs in there. So after a little bit of a later start in Europe, it was amazingly warm through the Christmas break. We usually start late December or the first week or so of January, but we had to hold off to get most of our rigs in until literally today. We've had one rig drilling at our Yoki East discovery over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and we've drilled further holes there. But now we've brought 3 rigs in to complete the 20 kilometers of resource expansion drilling. And the key aim of this program is simply to increase that 716,000 ounce gold equivalent inferred resource. And we want to extend that significantly. And our aim to do that, of course, is drill, and drill. We're fully funded, fully permitted. And then the detail is we're looking to infill and extend the high grade parts of the system that we found over the last year or so. We've got 7 to 8, 9 meters at 18 to 19 grams per ton drilled consistently, but with broad spacing, and we need to infill those. So bringing 60 to 80 meter spacing down to 40, and then once we've got a handle on that, we can extend those zones beyond their limits. So that's one part of it, but probably only 20% of the drilling meters will be directed to that stage. And the key aim is to bring more near surface resources to the table. And we've got some very good starts. We over the last couple of years have drilled hits that have economic. I can't use that term, but that's even going past my forward-looking statement criteria. But good thicknesses and grades that are in single scout drill holes that subsequently we've done electromagnetic geophysical surveys over within the last year and defined big conductors that are associated with those strong single hits, and they're all near surface, and there's many of them over kilometers, and that's our aim this year, is to build up new resource areas to add to the 4 that we already have in that 716,000 ounces.
The hit rate last year was absolutely phenomenal. It's clear to me that the team now has a really, really deep understanding of where it's drilling and why it's drilling there, right? Can you speak to that a bit? I know that the ground EM conductors have played a big part in that, and you just touched on that a second ago, but can you describe that for those that maybe weren't around for last year's program or are new to the story and are just getting familiar?
It's very good to have prospectivity, and we've got it in spades up in Finland. But if you don't understand your mineral system, don't understand the controls on gold, and don't understand where to drill, it's just a very easy way to go broke. Because you can drill, and drilling's very expensive. We drill at relatively modest costs in Finland, $200 Canadian a meter, all up for the drill costs. The assays are on top of that, about another $50. So it's an expensive business, and you want to find as many resources for the least amount of drilling that you conduct. And so last year we were drilling at about the resource upgrade at about $10 it cost us per ounce to find. So that's a pretty good strike rate, right? And why did that happen? That happened because we put I'm using lots of currencies here, something like just over $30 million into the ground. That's brought a lot of understanding, and our mineralization, fortunately, because it's blind, meaning it doesn't come to the surface. It's covered by a few meters of the melted glacier debris that came there over the last 10,000 years. So we need to use remote techniques to find it. Geophysics is one of those techniques, of course, that we use. And when we put current into the ground in these big loops, a bit like a big metal detector, these areas light up like a Christmas tree. The resource areas are all these electromagnetic highs that light up and literally, I use the word shine, but we can measure these incremental changes in conductivity, and that's what I was talking about. So we know that there's an intimate association with the known resources, and we've got many more of those areas to test. So it's de-risked as much as you probably would want a geological project or a project in the geological world to be. We're still second guessing nature, so it's never one-to-one, of course, but we're in a pretty good place.
The cobalt has been very consistent along with the gold mineralization, and obviously cobalt is going to play an increasingly important role as we transition globally into cleaner technology, right? Can you speak to the cobalt mineralization on the project, because it's really important, I think, and again, very underappreciated in the project?
Yeah, there's two very strong points outside the geology in many respects for this project. One is the extremely strong local support we have for this project from the villages, local villages, municipalities to the broad Lapland political support. This project, is one that people want to advance and to be built eventually into a mine. And the other side of that is the cobalt, which is a key byproduct. It's about 10 to 15% in situ value to the rock, but it makes this project a strategic resource for Finland and for Europe. And that's easily said, but it's a much easier argument to support this project for those who support it for us around us to argue the case that it is a strategic project rather than just a gold project owned by a foreign company. And Europe and Finland are ingrained, want to be ingrained, and are already ingrained in the battery supply chain. Finland produces 10% of the world's refined cobalt from the world's largest cobalt refinery. But that's 50% of the non-Chinese refined cobalt in the world. So they are already big into it, but the government has just allocated 450 million euros to build out their battery supply chain from raw material supply, which is where we're at, right through to battery plants. So we're right in the sweet spot of where Finland and Europe want to go, and we can provide a homegrown source of cobalt for Finland to meet their aims.
Excellent. Well put. I have to ask about Australia. You're on to not just one, but multiple discoveries there. How are things coming along there?
Well, I think that if you really wanted to compare Mawson in Victoria, Australia to our other Canadian peers, we're one of the few companies to continually put out consistent gold results around a discovery, and that's at Sunday Creek. A drill rig continues to drill there, and you'll see more information from that drill program come to the table soon. So that is a discovery in the making, and I'm pretty confident that we'll continue to see good results from there. But await the results. We've also collected a lot of information now over Sunday Creek, Redcastle and Roo, a lot of geophysical information. And that's what we said we'd do, and then put in the earlier stage drilling to understand those systems. And literally up until Christmas, that's where we got to. We're still just finishing off those programs, and now we're in a very good position to pivot from that data collection on those other projects and see to where next. And you'll see more information. We've been a bit slow, as I've spoken about many times, putting information out around Redcastle. We're just getting final assays in from that project, where we've drilled 15 holes. So one discovery in the making, and lots of good gold results. We drilled sort of 10 to 20 meters at 3 to 4 grams consistently, and that project's building up nicely, and encouraging. A lot of data that we've got to talk about soon from Redcastle. So once again, earlier stage than Finland, but we're on the roll there. Proof of concept completely proven, and now extending those systems.
Well put. I suspect we'll be chatting soon. A lot to talk about, a lot of news flow.
Absolutely. It's almost hard to keep up with the news flow, and press releases every week are a little too much for the market to get hold of. But we almost need to do that to keep everyone informed.
It's a good problem to have, Mike. Thank you so much for the update.
Thanks, Gerardo.